So hello and welcome back to Go Again Gaming. My name is Az, and it has been a while since I've put out a video. And what better way than to sort of divulge and dissect whether equipment is flawed, basically. So I'm a massive fan of this game, Flesh and Blood, because you have an avatar, you have a hero, you have a class that represents what sort of spells, what sort of attacks, what sort of play style you want to achieve in the game. And obviously you've got loads of different heroes, loads of different classes, and obviously now classes with extra talents added on, which makes the game awesome because you can really choose what sort of hero speaks to you. But one of the things that I do like about the game is the equipment aspect of it, but I also don't like how the competitive scene, you need certain cards, otherwise what are you doing, sort of thing. That is what I do not like. So I found an interesting article. This was before Monarch was released, by Louis Scott Vargas, who does a lot of content for Magic the Gathering. And this was posted on Channel Fireball back in March 2021. So yeah, a long time ago, 7 months. So yeah, one of the coolest features of Flesh and Blood is the equipment. Starting each game with a weapon and a full set of gear adds to both gameplay and deck building, as well as being a flavourful and intuitive aspect to the game. So I agree wholeheartedly with that. You know, choosing a character, kitting that character out before you start the game. But does every character need to wear a spring tunic in order to succeed? I recently pulled a spring tunic from CRU Unlimited, and I sold it straight away. One of the main decks that I use at the moment is a Viscerai deck, and I just don't understand why the tunic is so good. I just don't understand it. It basically gives you a resource point every 3 turns. You know, I mean, yes, three resources, cards that, you know, are going to cost 1 less in 3 turns is okay, but why is it so good? You know, I'm still very new to this game. I haven't really partaked in many tournaments yet. We've got the Go Again Gaming Open coming up soon, so maybe there'll be a couple of tunics in there. And I haven't played against, you know, characters that are wearing the tunic, so I don't understand. I haven't sort of really seen the value. So yeah, I guess I just need to play more games to understand it. But leave a comment in the section below as to why is the tunic so good. I've tried to find an article, I've googled it, I've YouTubed it, I've asked a question to Google, why is the tunic so good, but nobody can answer. There are no answers as to why the tunic is so good. So yeah, I mean, I don't like the fact that everybody who's going to the Road to Nationals needs a tunic. They need a skull cap. They need these generic equipments that every hero can use that gives them access to a benefit which is obviously high above the rest. Or is it? Because I do like the other equipments that are tailor-made to your hero's class. You know, there's a lot of chest pieces out there that are Rune Blade specific, Wizard specific, Warrior specific, that do these cool little things rather than going down the route of a generic equipment that allows you to get a free resource point every 3 turns. I just don't understand why the tunic is so good. And it's only you can only block, you know, 1 time with it, you know, and again, which because it's got blade break, whenever you block with it, it gets destroyed. So there's other equipments out there as well which will probably last longer, where you get the battle worn effect instead of the blade break. So you can obviously defend with it multiple times. So I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. And aesthetically for me as well, it's the whole tunic thing. You know, Flesh and Blood is about sort of customizing your character to wear, you know, cool pieces of equipment, greaves, helmets, and boots and what have you. Maybe it's because we haven't seen enough equipment be added to the game as to why we're not seeing that sort of level of customization. I would love to see a set that is basically like Crucible of War, an accompanying set with just loads of equipments thrown in there, and maybe equipment buffs as well. I've spoke about this on a previous video. having a set of equipment will give you an extra buff. I think that would be a fantastic thing. But are legendary equipments just becoming chase rares that you have to use, otherwise you're an idiot? You know, every single character that you come up against is wearing the same bloody tunic and the same skull cap. Because you can. It's a generic equipment. Any hero can wear the dress and the skull cap, and everyone's basically the same hero in a tunic and a skull cap. I just don't like that aspect of it. So yeah, I don't think they should really be printing things that have these passive abilities unless you have the full set of armor. Like if you had a Fine Dial Spring Tunic, Fine Dial's high heels, Fine Dial's earrings, then maybe you get the resource point every 3 turns. But yeah, I mean, having one piece of equipment that has a passive ability on there, I think is the reason why it's broken and why it is so good. But I still do not see, because my Flesh and Blood brain isn't attuned to competitive play, it is very still much casual mindset on this channel. I don't see why the Tunic is so good. So leave a comment in the section below as to why the Tunic is so good. But I personally play a Viserai deck. That's my bread and butter at the moment, is Viserai deck. And Viserai cares about free actions anyway. You know, you're either playing 0 cost cards, or you're playing cards that care about the amount of rune chant tokens you have, reducing the cost to basically 0 anyway. So you don't need a Tunic in a Viserai deck. So where would you need a Tunic in order to play competitively? Where do you need the Tunic? Because every 3 turns you're getting the resource. Where do you put that resource? 'Cause it's only 1 point of resource, really. I mean, yeah, I guess it means that you can play your 1-cost cards without sort of pitching cards from your hand. But you want to pitch cards from your hand to draw more cards. That's also my argument. And there's something similar to the Tunic in the cross strap. So the Heart and Cross Strap is a generic equipment chest as well, and it has an action on there, and you can destroy it, and it says the next action card you play this turn costs 2 resource. Attack action card you play costs 2 resource less to play, and you go again. So that's more of a big turn sort of card, rather than just the 1 resource. So I would rather play with the Heart and Cross Strap, albeit it can't really defend, 'cause it's got 0 defense. But it is that utility card, isn't it? It's difficult. But yeah, I think it's an issue that they do have to sort of try and resolve by putting more equipments into the market, more equipments to people to play with. And I think a supplementary set will be the way forward for that. I think there should just be like they're branding the armory events for game stores. There should be an armory set that has all of these equipments in, that then gives you buffs and what have you for having sort of play sets of equipment when you start the game. But yeah, I've done a brief video on that in the past, but I just don't know how they're going to solve this issue of everybody needs a skull cap, everybody needs a tunic, and you know the heroes that you see are being sort of tainted by the same equipment showing up again and again and again because they are so useful. Like the tunic, like the skull cap. So yeah, I do think that these legendary equipments are not damaging the game, but sort of making the game less variety. Because if you have one of these cards, you're an idiot not to use it, basically, is what I'm getting at. And I don't like that. You know, I like to enter the arena with my Crown of Dichotomy and my Aether Ironweave. Even if I'm playing someone with a skull cap and a tunic, I'm just like, yeah, I feel like I'm playing the game the way it should be played. You know, you're kitting your character out in the right sort of stuff. You're not a Runeblade character who's wearing a tunic. This is turning into a bit of a rant video, but yeah, I mean, I'm still very, very positive about the game. I absolutely love the game. I just feel that I think there needs to be more equipments put into the market so people do experiment a lot more. But then, you know, when these massive tournaments with huge cash prizes are now up for grabs, is everyone just thinking, right, what is the best card? How can I get the most value? Of course they are. You know, and a card that gives you free resources every 3 turns or so is not to be sniffed at in that sort of environment, because you need to make the most of all of your cards going into those competitive scenes. So yeah, I do understand that side of it, but I think there needs to be more variety in what people are choosing to play with in the competitive scene, because that is when you will start getting a bit fatigued and a bit burned out, as if you see the same cards being played all the time. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but I've still got high hopes for this game. I'm still absolutely loving it. Cannot wait to play in the Go Again Gaming Open tournament, which is coming soon. And yeah, just absolutely loving this game. Still need to sort out a lot of the series that I've promised on previous videos. But yeah, there's going to be much more coming to this channel soon. I've just had a little bit of time off recently, so thanks for bearing with me. And yeah, leave a comment in the section below as to why is the Tunic so good. Please answer that question for me. Throw some interactions in the box, and yeah, we'll see you on the next video. Peace.